Classified interview series again. We back at it. Give me your name.
They call me PYT.
You heard it, PYT, man. We've been trying to get this going for a minute. We finally got it popping. We out here in Burbank, California in the studio. Broken 2, you know what I'm saying? Interrupted her set to get this interview in. So let's take it from the beginning, man. Where you from, PYT?
I'm from Carson, California. That's the South Bay, if y'all don't know.
Carson in the house. Yeah, okay, you the first Carson artist we had putting on for the city.
Yeah.
Second female. So, you know, that's big for us, man. So you went to school there, grew up there, high school, graduated?
Well, I went to Curtis Middle School, and I went to Gardena High School. It's not in Carson, but a lot of Carson kids went to Gardena.
Gardena is a very good friend of Classified. We do good business with them. So, were you there anytime when we came up there with a tour, or was that a dull time?
I graduated in 08.
Who did we have? Oh, that was the beginning. I don't think wait a minute.
I remember people coming up to my middle school, coming up to Curtis Middle School.
Okay.
And people performing. It was always like young, up and coming artists coming there for a tour and then be performing.
Yeah. Same thing. I always try to figure out what era the artists we talking to, what school, so I know. Okay, that was the era when we brought such and such. Was you there then? Was you there then? So that's cool. So were you middle school? I'm gonna start from middle school. Was that when you started listening to music, or who was you listening to as a child in your headphones, artist-wise?
When I was little, a lot of people probably don't know who she is, but when I was little, I used to cry, and my mom, she would play Tracy Chapman.
Okay.
So that was like, that guitarist, you know. That was the first artist, honestly, that I remember hearing. And then after her came Michael Jackson.
Okay.
And then it just
heavy. Like a Thriller album. I mean, it don't even matter what album. If you grew up in you had to learn Michael Jackson records. Prince.
Yes.
Certain Luther Vandross records, you had to know them too. Whitney, all of that. Those are our staples. So, hip hop wise, because obviously you're a hip hop artist, were you into like the Queen, like the MC Lights? Because we didn't have that many back then. What female artists were you paying attention to back then? Just
the first female artist that I remember myself paying attention to, I would say it was Lil' Kim.
Okay.
And it wasn't because of the nasty stuff, but like she really could spit.
She had bars.
Yeah, you feel me?
I don't know if Biggie was writing for her what, but no, she had bars. Like we would listen to Lil' Kim and be comfortable driving around playing Lil' Kim. Like, why you hear this beat that she on?
After her though, it was Lauryn Hill.
Okay.
The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill album.
Stable.
Once I heard that, it was just like, wow, like female rappers can be more than just.
What element did you like of the like when she was in her singing vibe, or when she was in her spitting vibe?
I like both, but the singing did something, I feel like, to my spirit.
Okay.
Every time I listen to, like, what's the song, Zion?
Yeah.
That song right there makes me cry every time. So I would say, like, the singing vibe. But overall, to be a female artist and do both successfully, she did that.
How did you feel when she went away after that? Because we wanted more. Obviously, we wanted more. But how did you feel when she didn't come back? Did you what the hell happened? Or were you just like...
Yeah. I mean, I was one of those people like, what happened?
Right.
But then after hearing her story, and it's like, we see it now, like how the industry pressures, female rappers, to look a certain way.
She couldn't say nothing back then about it.
So it's like blackballer, know. So I understand why her position was what it was, because if you're going to stand for anything, stand for yourself, stand for something.
Right.
So I respect it, but I was one of those people like, where did she go? It was like Unplugged MTV, and then it was
Remember
like...
that?
Yeah, like what happened?
I think her and Jay-Z probably the reason Unplugged really went there, because I mean the Jay-Z with the little whatever shirt he had on, that t-shirt, the band, he had the Roots playing for him, and
you feel me?
Jaguar Wright, I think she was singing or something. Yeah, that shit was nuts.
Yes, it was.
They was putting out albums after they would do an Unplugged, like go get the Unplugged album.
Exactly.
There you go. So you were into the liver sound growing up?
Yeah.
Like the instrumentations and shit like that?
Yeah, I like to watch shows like Unplugged. I mean, when you watch like
Soul Train?
I was just gonna say that. Okay. Now, when I found out about Soul Train, it was like Shamar Moore was hosting. Yeah. But
God, he's so cheesy. Shout out Shamar though.
Shout out Shamar Moore. So but once I saw the Don Cornelius ones, I'm talking about I was watching those because they was playing like playbacks on like Channel 5 or something.
Yeah. A while ago, they just was going
I would watch that every Saturday. Get up and just watch Don Cornelius, and it's like, oh, I see what my mom and them was, fascinated.
You started listening to artists that were influencing Did you know what age was you when you knew you wanted to start penning some shit, or how did that break out? Was you just spitting on somebody else instrumentals or what?
I started writing at 11.
Okay.
And when I started writing at 11, it was more like poetry.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, it was more poetic. It wasn't so much like rapping or nothing.
Okay.
And it was singing, because it was like girls in my grade that everybody wanted to be a singer. Right. It was like Destiny's Child, Brandy, Monica.
All of that shit.
You know, they were young and all the girls wanted to sing, so I would write them songs.
Okay.
And then, that's kind of how it started for me, writing.
Journals and shit, diaries.
Yes, journals, short stories, and just that type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the music, when you do some real music, was you in high school when you went into the studio and actually started doing some recording records, or did you start off just randomly doing shit, or did you jump right into the mixtape world or project world?
What happened was Bow Wow came out.
Okay. When
Bow Wow came out, I was like 12, going on 13 maybe. And that's when the Bounce With Me, he came out with the Beware of Dog album. Okay. And I was like, I want to be the female version of him, like, because I've never seen a young female rapper. Most of them are all singers. Right. So I was like, I want to be the female version of him so I can go back and forth with him. Right. So that's where the hip-hop, like, came from as far as me wanting to be a rapper. Right. And then I started recording when I was, like, 14, 15. Okay. In-house, like, people on my block, they had a studio. I would record there, and then it just went from there.
Was you messing with the production side a little bit since you was going to these types, like, yo, how you do that?
Okay.
How'd you do that?
What happened with that? I love my peoples, don't get me wrong, but I didn't like their beats. Okay. I thought their beats were cheesy, and they would never let me play with it to make my own. Right. So I told my grandma one day, I said, I need you to take me to Guitar Center. And all the money that I had saved up, like, I went and bought, like, a whole bunch of equipment and went home. And I kind of just, at first, I just taught myself how to make beats. Right. Because I was like, y'all beats are cheesy.
I mean, that's why I asked, because a lot of artists, just get frustrated and just start learning the ropes. And next thing you know, they're punching in. And that's how those home studios start, Exactly. Like, and then you bring it to the lab and you perfect it or whatever. So, that's important. So was it a tape, a mixtape was your first thing you did, or? Yeah. No, this was the era when mixtapes was rapping on somebody else's. To me, that's a real mixtape.
That is a real mixtape.
Because we love the beat, but like, since we know the beat, we can pay more attention to you if everything's fresh, and it's like
jacking for beats.
I don't know which one to listen for. There you go. There you go. Me? It's like, but it was fun though back then. You know what I mean?
No, that was like the first thing. I mean, before I did a mixtape, what happened was, my mom signed me up to perform. Okay. I've never recorded before at that point. Right, I was 13, and I had a Trick Daddy beat. Trick Love the Kids. Yeah. That beat. Yeah. I got the beat, and what I did was I wrote to it, and I never recorded it. And like I said, nothing. I wrote to it, and when I performed, I just perform what I wrote. Right. And that was my first time getting like a mixtape type experience rapping on somebody else's beat. Right. From there, I ended up learning how to produce like a couple years later. When I got my own equipment, I started downloading beats because I was listening to like Ace Hood, Lil Wayne, Tyga. When, like you said, when mixtapes was really dropping. Right. Jules Santana. Yeah. So I'm listening to them type of mixtapes. That question, I
was going to ask you, when you your new influence and you just ran through like 4 or 5 of them, that's a good pocket. So you get them East Coast type of bars. They use a lot of words.
They use a lot of metaphors and punchlines. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like West Coast artists, they write good too.
I'm gonna bring in the West. The good part about the West too.
Yeah. But when it comes to those bars, I feel like Q-Tip, Tribe Called Quest, like those. It's the same person, but the group together. When it comes to the bars, the lyrical ability, it's just they have a way of putting words together.
So you're doing some good studying and researching, great artists that you can kind of feel. I mean, we came in, we've been behind the scenes just to let y'all know we're in the studio again, Burbank Classified Interviews. Yeah. They call me PYT in the building. Y'all don't know how long we've been trying to put this together. Second female on the interview series. We was listening to some behind the scenes, man, and just trying to catch the vibe, and it was not hard to catch. I mean, you came in and you just punched in, and we just sitting there like, yo, we got to shoot some of this shit. I didn't even have to say that to her. She had to say that to me. It was just like,
let's do it.
Yeah, man. She riding the atmosphere that we in, which is how you want to do. And some of the interviews we've been doing has been in the studios, and we did a couple in a few of the lounges, but we like to get in the element where y'all can play y'all stuff. Obviously, y'all hear music playing in the background. This is exclusive shit y'all hearing. That's why it's real. Little shout out a camera crew in the background. Yeah. All right, so let's get into what we had now with the music. Have you dropped any mixtapes to this point?
As far as like mixtapes, I've dropped mixtapes in the past. As of right now, my Pearl Heart EP is out right now. 5-song EP produced by Jayhawk Productions. Right. We recorded it right here. Okay. So that's out right now.
How many records? How many tracks?
5. Okay. 5 songs. And it's basically telling a story. If you don't know who Pearl Heart is, she basically was an outlaw. Her mother got sick and she didn't have the money, so she went and robbed a stagecoach. And I mean, that applies to everyday life. Well, what we going through right now is a pandemic. Everybody ain't got bread.
People walking out of stores with shit right now.
You feel me? People walking out with bread and salami because they can't afford the food. So I just related to that story, and the whole project is basically like, it's not telling her story, but it's basically a story of this is what I got to do to survive and feed my family.
Right, right.
But right now, I'm making songs, though, to build up a catalog, though.
How long ago? So, and I was bringing this up in my beginning interviews, it's the pocket of the artist, where you establish something with the producer where they're like, you know, we know your voice. Like, Drake went through that in the beginning. We go back and listen to some of Drake's beginning stuff. His voice was still Tony, and it was, you know what I'm saying? He hadn't found his lane in his pocket yet. Yeah. So, from that project that you did then to what you're recording now, is there a change where you like, yo, I'm in my...
Yeah.
Because I can hear it.
Yeah.
But I want to know before with the pocket that you on now, because the pocket you on now is obvious.
Yeah, what I'm on right now, well, I just lost somebody. Okay. Rest in peace, LV Rose.
Rest in peace.
I just lost somebody. So, for me, like, whenever I go through something, instead of me, like, crying or I feel myself going into a depression.
Right.
Instead of me doing that, I take it out on musically. Right. So the pocket I'm in right now, I'm coming hard, like I'm coming more aggressive. Purpose. Because with purpose, I'm angry. I won't lie, I'm angry. I'm tired of losing people. Yeah. But instead of me going out in the street doing something stupid, you feel me? I figured let me just take that same energy and put it into the music. Right. So the music that you hear me doing today, that's why it has that aggressiveness and that hunger, because that's just how I feel right now. Like I'm mad.
Right.
And instead of me taking it out on somebody, I'm going to take it out on the beat.
Right. You can't hear, and that's the good part of music. I don't hear the anger, but I can tell that it's some fuel.
Yeah.
That the way you punch it in and like, yo, whatever I'm going to do, it could have been something else, but I'm about to, at this level of my life, I'm going to do it at this speed and at this pace and with this purpose. So, you know, and we all go through that. That's like a graduation level of life that you even at that level that you're at now.
Thank you.
Because now this is the sanity part. Where you got to keep your sanity, you know what I mean? And go through all of these valleys and all these rocky roads and still wake up the next morning like you was yesterday, like this shit really happened.
Yeah.
And that's what, you know, people admire and they pick up on that. So you coming in, you punching. How many records are you doing for your upcoming project?
Well, I want to at least record 15. That's the least. If I can get 20, that's golden.
Yeah.
But the least would be, I say, like 15. But I kind of don't want to put a number on it. I kind of just want to record as many sessions as I get. Just record as many songs as possible. Yeah, you feel me? Right. And then sit at the end of it. And instead of, what I want to do differently this time, instead of just me or the engineer picking the songs, I want to have a session to where DJs come, you come, media outlets. Like, I want people to come and listen to the music and say, hey, I think this the one. Like they used to.
Yeah.
With the record pool type thing,
what you're talking about. When I want to take that, a World on Wheels, and the artists would come up there.
I went a couple times. OT Genesis was up there when I went one time, and he got feedback, and then all of a sudden, boom. Yeah. You feel me? Yeah. But that's what I want to do the next project. I want to take it back to the essence of hip hop, and I feel like a lot of us get away from that. I went to a DJ conference recently in Florida. Shout out to Fleet DJ.
I seen you out there. Shout out Fleet DJ.
And it was crazy because it's like, this is where it started.
Right.
Artists and DJ, and it's like artists get away from that.
We don't have a conference. We used to have, so you probably remember the Urban Network in Palm Springs?
Yeah.
And then they moved it to Newport Beach, and then they tried to do one a couple of years ago, I think at the airport LAX area, but it's not like those Palm Springs ones when we used to go out there and then you have a night show, pool show. I met Trey Songz at Palm Springs at the Urban Network. He was a headline performer. But this was a skinny dude with braids and rainbow t-shirt on. I was like, why is he singing so many songs? Like, why is he performing the most of shit? It was a nighttime poolside, and he was just going crazy. Shout out Troy Marshall and Kevin Black, man. I was down there meeting with them. But, Yeah, man, definitely need to bring back conferences, and I'm glad you said that, because that's something that all of those things we're trying to bring back, because the more people know, the better leverage they have going in their situation. You might not even need to go in a situation, you might be able to control yourself. Maybe independent is enough for you.
Yeah.
What's wrong with being a thousandaire? You know what I'm saying? Not you. Well, I'm just saying some of the artists that can control more.
Nah, even me. I think about that too, you feel me? Because people ask me all the time, like, how would you feel being famous? You look at people like Michael Jackson, you look at people like Whitney Houston, and it make you say, do I really want to be that famous?
Right.
Forget money to the side. They're famous to the point where when they wake up in the morning, people shouting their name.
Just on
you
the
feel
God
me?
level, like, yo.
On a God level. Yeah. So if I be a thousandaire on some real shit, hey, that's what it is.
A thousandaire mean you got a millionaire worth of shit.
Man,
and your change is hundreds and thousands of dollars. Is your change with all
as long as everything paid off, I'm good.
Right.
Credit A1, I'm good.
Come on now, talk to the youngest. Let them know, man. So you got these. So you're just going to just keep making records and then do a process. I like that. Maybe also add like live and have some people, have the fans kind of pick what do they like.
That's true.
You know, because we want to do more than just the interview. We want to like kind of catalog the artists and their process and what they're doing. And, you know, we did the Ash Bash, went to Restore, that she had a performance on Melrose. So, and we jumped out the water with this one and already got your studio session, and now we're getting the interview. Yeah. I know we're going to go next door and listen to what you recorded.
Yes.
They want to hear, obviously, people going to want to hear that shit I keep talking about, that you can't just ran crazy. But you wanted to play another one for us before we get into that. So we're going to listen to a couple of tracks and we're going to get ready to get up out of here.
All right.
And what's next? Videos, anything? Give me your YouTube, your Instagram. We got to get that in there.
So most definitely,
where they see your videos at?
Everybody that's tuned in, if you want to watch my music videos, go to youtube.com/TheyCallMePYT.
Spelled just like it said, right?
Spelled just like I said it. Right. They call me PYT. Ain't no 3s, 4s,
no
nothing.
Tricks.
You
Straight
feel me? And like I had mentioned before, you feel me? As far as being a writer, writing for television, I have music on television. You feel me? Currently, have been in the studio recording more music for television. So I'm definitely diving into that. So y'all just make sure y'all stay tuned. I got new projects, new videos coming out. Just stay tapped in with me. They call me PYT.
And you explore more lanes and you let them know, like, listen, there's other things that
more
need music.
To get it.
There's TV. There's video games. Like, I remember it was a video game explosion. The artists trying to get Grand Theft Auto. Because everything needs music. And then your shit is just sitting there. I don't know how they pay. I don't know really how they go. But yeah, that's interesting you say that. And that's a good point to let people know.
Yes,
dig into more things to do with your music. There's the Michael Jackson level. And then there's the behind the scenes. But all that shit is your shit. You know what I'm saying? And you got that voice and that speed. So let's go next door. Let's listen to a couple records before we get up out of here.
All right.
Wait a minute. You didn't give me Instagram. Let them, because that's where we can see the daily activities.
So Facebook, they call me PYT. Instagram, they call me PYT. Snapchat, they call me PYT. SoundCloud, they call me PYT. iTunes, they call me PYT. Spotify, they call me PYT. Nah, but on some real shit, everything is they call me PYT. Branding is very, very important.
Right.
So as soon as the social media outlet open that you know that's about to pop, hurry up, get your account and put your name on it before the next person do. Google me, they call me PYT.
Somebody will buy your name and try to sell it back to you, man. We're going to tap in 2 minutes. Let's go next door. We out.
So baby, why you tripping? Why you tripping? Who you calling? Who you text late at night asking me to pull up? Cause you know I do you right, huh? Still you wildin' when I'm sipping Long Island. Don't I message you? Send a freaky text or two. Already know how we do? Yeah, you already know the program. People, I don't wait on no man. Nah, hit you with that ill nah. That just sprung off that tongue. Ooh, papa, roll it up, talking zaza. Wet water, when you making butt shata. See the top of your head, you a real bopper. Oh baby, you a real bopper. Don't tell nobody nada. And let's see if we can go further. You just gotta check your emotions. Don't ever let a nigga see you folded. Touch me, tease me, when we get time. Nobody said fucking with me would be easy, but you got mine. Attention. So baby, why you tripping? Why you tripping? That one for the ladies, you feel me? It's called Attention. Produced by G5, you feel me? Engineered by J-Hawk on the beat. You feel me? J-Hawk Productions. They call me PYT. G5 like this. What? Sean Perrier in the building. Shout out to CLASSCFIED. Exclusive. Listen, y'all. That's like this. Y'all see what we doing?
Who's
this
that
is like
guy
the
by the door though? Tell them who that guy is.
This is G5. Y'all know G5.
Who is that? Who is that guy right
and
there
that's
though?
J-Hawk Productions. Y'all know J-Hawk.
And this guy that was spitting behind you?
Sean Perrier.
Man, CLASSCFIED, we in this bitch, man. We up out of here. Shout out my lady over here on the side. I don't know if she want her name out there. The juice is in the building. You see it. CLASSCFIED, man. We up out this motherfucker, man. Y'all stay watch.